back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to navigate a figure skating session like a pro. Now, there's a lot that can go into navigating a figure skating session, but in today's video specifically, we're going to go over where to jump, spin, how to navigate around moves in the field, and dance patterns as well as programs. Starting off super simple, we're going to talk about the general flow of traffic and the direction of travel. So on a figure skating session, or a public session for that matter, the general direction of travel is going to be counterclockwise. So whether you are skating laps to warm up for your session, or you are just skating laps around the rink at a public session, this will be the way that most of the skaters will be flowing around the rink. Before we get into where to jump and spin, let's take a look at the general ice layout. Some very important parts to note are the 5 different circles that are on an ice rink. There is 2 on each end and then 1 in the center. These circles are going to be super helpful indicators when trying to figure out where you're supposed to jump and spin. And although these circles are a very good place to start when you are learning where to jump and spin, you do not want to solely rely on them, because once you move up the ranks and start competing at bigger competitions, a lot of the ice surfaces will not have these circles. They will usually just have the name of the competition or logos of their sponsors on the ice, so you won't have these indicators to help you navigate. Now, where you jump on the ice rink is sectioned off into 3 main categories: edge jumps, lutz, and toe and flip. Starting with edge jumps, which if you need a little refresher or you don't know what the edge jumps are, these are axel or waltz jump, sauerkraut, and loop. To do your edge jumps, you are going to be doing them in the 2 opposite corners of the ice in those circles on the end of the rink. While the circles are where you actually execute the jump, you also have the pattern skating into the jump, and these are typically done skated on a curved pattern around the middle circle of the ice. So you will skate around the middle circle in some type of pattern, doing whatever steps you'd like, and then you will execute the jump somewhere in or around those circles on either end of the ice. For these entrance patterns, they will follow the general flow of traffic, but it's important to note that if you are a lefty, these patterns will be opposite for you. So you may have a little bit harder time with your edge jumps because you will be opposing the general flow of traffic. Next are the lutz corners. The lutz corners are basically the exact same thing as the edge corners, just on the other side. So for my righties, your lutz corners will be here. And for my lefties, they will be where we just talked about the righty edge corners were. Hopefully that makes sense. It can get a little confusing when you're trying to look at both righty and lefty corners. So just like edge jumps, these entrance steps will have the same type of patterns as edge jumps, curving around the center circle and then jumping and executing your jump somewhere in or around those corner circles. Now, for most skaters who are not lefties, sorry lefties, this pattern will now be opposing the flow of traffic, so it's very important to look where you're going so that you do not crash into someone who is doing a pattern that will cross yours. The last section in the jump category is our toe loop and flip. The toe loop and flip are generally performed anywhere on the end of either side of the rink. Now, there are 2 different entrance patterns that you typically see from skaters. One pattern is similar to those of the edge jumps, so it'll curve kind of around the middle circle and then go towards the middle end of the rink. Or skaters may take kind of a straight line pattern down to the end of the ice to perform their jump. Next, let's talk about spinning. So if we review a couple of those jump patterns that we just talked about, we notice that majority of the patterns will go somewhere around that center circle and perform jumps kind of on either end of the rink, leaving an open space in the middle, which is perfect for your spins. As a figure skater, when we are spinning, our goal is always to make it as centered as possible. So this means that we want to stay in one place the entire time we are spinning and not travel off to nowhere land. And when we stay in one spot for a long time, wherever we are on the ice, it can cause traffic issues because people are trying to zoom around us. So that makes the center circle the best out of the way place to spin, because you are allowing all of the jump patterns and general flow of traffic to travel around you while you practice your spins. When skating on a figure skating session, you're almost 100% likely to run into a skater who is practicing their moves in the field tests or ice dance tests, and these kinds of tests have certain set out steps and patterns that a skater must follow in order to test out of their current level. These types of patterns can curve and zigzag any which way around the ice, so the more that you get familiar with them, the more comfortable you will feel around people who are practicing those types of patterns. Some of the ways that you can familiarize yourself with these kinds of patterns is to observe people that are doing them, whether you're watching someone practice them on a figure skating session or you're watching a video of someone doing it on YouTube. That can be a great way to kind of just get a feeling of where a skater might be headed. Another way is to look over the testing papers. If you're not familiar with these kinds of tests at all, each pattern is laid out on a paper to show you where it is performed on the ice, so you could look over these papers to also familiarize yourself with them. The last and possibly best way to familiarize yourself with these kinds of patterns is to start practicing and testing them yourself. Now, you don't have to memorize every single pattern, but once you start recognizing a few patterns here or there, it'll be easier for you to judge where a skater might be headed and therefore avoid a potential collision. Figure skating programs are completely unique from any of these categories. Each skater has their own program with different elements and skills and patterns, so these ones can be hard to judge when it comes to navigating around them. Similar to moves in the field and dance patterns, the best way to navigate them is to familiarize yourself with the patterns. Because programs are so unique, they do not have set patterns like moves in the field, but a skater will typically skate their same program for an entire year. So if you're skating with the same skaters over and over again, you'll begin to start to familiarize yourself with specific people's programs. Now, you don't have to memorize their entire program, of course, but it can be very helpful to recognize certain pieces of their program that may cause traffic issues, or maybe you always skate in that spot, so you want to steer clear of it when their program music is on. It can also be helpful to simply just learn whose music is whose, so when music comes on over the loudspeaker, you'll know who to watch out for. Like I said before, most skaters will keep their same program for a year, but then they will get a new one, so this becomes an ongoing thing to be aware of. Lastly, to end off this video, the most important thing you can do to navigate a figure skating session is just be aware of your surroundings. Be looking in the direction you're traveling, be watching out for other skaters and trying to guess where they might be headed, and just be kind and considerate, but in the end, don't forget to have fun. So that is all I have for you guys today. I really hope that this video helps you feel a little bit more comfortable on your next figure skating session, and hopefully you learned a thing or two. I do have all of these diagrams that were shown in the video of where to jump and spin available for you to download, so I will link those down below. And I also have the lefty versions for my lefties. I didn't forget about you, so definitely check those out if you found those helpful. But for now, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!